We begin this hour with a very disturbing trend in the pandemic, setting up what could become a devastating fall season. On Friday, the U.S. recorded 194,000 new cases. Now, we haven't seen a number that high since winter. Think about that for just 1 second. COVID hospitalizations are up threefold from last month. And now internal CDC documents suggest this, that the Delta variant is as contagious as the chicken pox.
The Delta variant now accounts for 82% of all U.S. cases. And while the CDC says vaccinated people can spread it, there's overwhelming evidence the vaccine works against it. Here's the data. Nearly 165 million Americans have been fully vaccinated. Of that number, only about 0.1% or 165,000 people have tested positive for the virus. And of those positive cases, only about 6,000 have been hospitalized. And from that total, about 1,000 patients have died. So for anyone doubting the effectiveness of the vaccine, that's the hard data. Here's how Dr. Anthony Fauci explained it on Face the Nation.
If you're vaccinated, you're much, much more protected against getting infected than an unvaccinated, who is completely vulnerable. So you have a degree of protection against infection. But the critical issue, John, is that if you do get infected, the likelihood of your getting a severe outcome of the infection is very low. It is much more likely that you will be either without symptoms or minimally symptomatic. So the vaccine is doing what you want it to do. It's protecting people from getting sick.
You know, the evidence cited by Dr. Fauci is one more reason that businesses are starting to require proof of vaccination from staff and customers. Those businesses include Danny Meyer's Union Square Hospitality Group. He is the company's founder and CEO. They operate iconic restaurants like Union Square Cafe and Gramercy Tavern in New York City and elsewhere. The proof of vaccination policy will go into effect next month, and it applies to all adults 18 and over. Children are exempt. Children under 18 are exempt, and so are people who eat outside. Meyer also founded the burger chain Shake Shack, but vaccination policy, you got to be vaccinated, does not apply to them. They are a publicly traded company. Danny Meyer joins us now at the table. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
How do you verify that someone is vaccinated? Like what kind of proof do you want, and how do you confirm that the proof they're giving you is legit?
Well, there are definitely cards that the CDC has provided to show proof of vaccination. And there's also digital proof as well. Clear has a wonderful app called Health Pass, which anybody can get for free. In New York State, we have Excelsior Pass, and we'll take a look at all of those.
You intend to police this very carefully? I mean, check IDs to make sure that you're actually seeing the card actually belongs to that person?
The most important thing for us to check is our staff. We care so deeply. We have a pretty sacred responsibility to make sure that it's safe to work in our restaurants. Keep in mind, when you dine in a restaurant, you cannot wear a mask while you're eating and drinking. Yeah. And our staff members don't have a choice but to serve you. And so if our staff members are with you for 2.5 hours, I want to make sure, first of all, that they're safe. And we're going to do everything we can, obviously, to make sure that those people who choose to eat with us are also safe.
You're getting a lot of applause, Danny, for doing this. Many people hope that businesses will follow suit and follow your lead. But it also comes with some heat, too. Are you concerned about the backlash? Was this a tough decision for you to reach?
It's an easy decision if the question is, what's the right thing to do? It's only a tough decision if you're trying to take the easy path. I would say that most people have told us, this makes me happier to work here because I know I'm going to be safe.
Makes me happier to go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but finish, sorry.
Well, no, I just want to say that I understand that there is great reluctance on the part of some people to get the vaccine. I don't understand it personally, but you know what? If that is who you are, you will probably choose to dine somewhere else, and we have to accept that.
And trying to do it without judgment, too. I'm really working very hard on not judging people that don't get the vaccine. And you're not instituting it right away. Why not?
We wanted to give both our staff the opportunity to be informed as much as possible, and we wanted to give ourselves the opportunity to do the same thing. Look, we don't want to lose one staff member due to this new policy. And so we're bringing people into our restaurants on a weekly basis to provide access to vaccinations. We've set aside spot in our restaurant for that, and we're also bringing in counselors to help people who either have been afraid or who just who've been misinformed. But here's what I'm most excited about. Everyone who works for us also has family members. And if we can impact even their families by welcoming their family members in to get vaccinations as well, and or, as we saw last week when we started this program, we had many, many members of our staff come and get the vaccination after they got information, and they go back and tell their families. We could have a good ripple effect here.
I know you call it a policy rather than a mandate, but I found this interesting. I read that before smoking was, banned in businesses here in New York City, you banned it in your restaurants like a decade before the city did, right? Must have been controversial then. You must have had people up in arms like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, my mom didn't like you, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but what did you learn from banning smoking, and how might that apply to saying you can't come in unless you got a vaccination card?
I think when you have something that is a personal right, like smoking, or like at this point not getting a vaccination, you also have to say, okay, how does that personal right impact other people, and what do I choose for my business? One of the great things about business in America is we are not government, we are free enterprise, and we have the right to make the kind of choices we think are right for the people who work for us and the people who dine with us. And Americans are free, and Americans do not have to dine in restaurants that don't welcome non-vaccinated people if they choose not to.
Danny, to the small guy, I'm sorry, go ahead. To the small guy in Louisiana who's got, a staff of 5 and a budget not anywhere as big as yours, he might look at this and go, yeah, sounds great, you're in New York City, but that's going to kill my business. What do you say to him?
Then he won't do it.
Yeah. Danny, more than 110,000 restaurants closed last year in the pandemic. How's the industry doing now?
Well, you raised such an important point, because what I haven't shared this morning is that our industry was on its knees for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
In my business, we laid off 95% of our staff at the end of March of last year. I don't want to go back. And I know what will happen if we do not make our own restaurants safe and the rates start to tick up.
Yeah.
That's when government's going to step in.
And close
they're
it down.
going to impose the closures, the capacity limits. We do not want to go back to that. And that's why this is so important as well.
I hope other business leaders are listening to you, Danny. I'm very biased about this particular topic because it's scary. You have the vaccine and it affects other people. If you don't want to get vaccinated, fine, but now you're affecting other people. That matters
Thanks for being here.
very much. Thank you.